February 28th, 1994. The skies over Bosnia were about to witness history. Tensions had been building for months as the Bosnian War raged below, fueled by the violent breakup of Yugoslavia. The world watched as ethnic conflict tore the region apart, with Sarajevo and other cities caught in the crossfire. In the skies, American F-16s faced off against Bosnian Serb Jastrebs. For the first time ever, NATO was about to enter combat. The stakes were high and the world's most powerful military alliance was about to be tested. The United Nations had imposed a strict no-fly zone enforced by NATO. Under Operation Deny Flight, military aircraft patrolled the skies, radar screens tracked every movement, and pilots were briefed on the rules of engagement. The mission was clear: stop any unauthorized flights. NATO pilots now had orders to shoot down violators. Both sides prepared for a confrontation that would change the course of the war and NATO's history. The quiet skies over Bosnia were about to erupt in combat as NATO and Bosnian Serb pilots braced for a historic clash. The countdown to NATO's first combat engagement had begun. The world would never see air power the same way again. At dawn, 6 Bosnian Serb J-21 Jastreb jets took off from Udbina Air Base, aiming for a military factory in Novi Travnik. The Jastreb, a simple ground attack jet, was not built to face modern fighters, but the target was too important to ignore. The factory produced weapons for the Bosnian army, making it a high-value objective. Flying low through the mountains, the pilots hoped to evade NATO radar and strike fast. Their plan was simple: get in, bomb the target, and escape before NATO could react. The Jastrebs dropped their bombs, causing significant damage to the factory. As they turned for home, alarms sounded. NATO had detected the attack. A NATO AWACS plane tracked the intruders and directed fighters to intercept. The clock was ticking for the Serb pilots as NATO moved to respond. High above the Bosnian countryside, 2 American F-16C fighter jets patrolled the skies, their call signs Black 01 and Black 02. Part of the 526th Fighter Squadron, the Black Knights, they were based at Aviano Air Base in Italy. Captains Robert Wilbur Wright and Scott Zulu O'Grady were enforcing the no-fly zone, a mission that, until now, had meant no combat. Their F-16s were fast, agile, and armed with powerful missiles and a Vulcan cannon. Suddenly a call came from NATO AWACS. Unidentified aircraft had bombed a target and were heading east. The F-16S were vectored to intercept. The Serbian Jastrebs tried to use the mountains for cover, but AWACS tracked them. The American pilots had to follow strict rules of engagement: identify, warn, and only then engage. Captain Wright identified the Jastrebs and issued radio warnings. There was no response. With clearance, he fired an AIM-120 AMRAAM, the first weapon ever fired in anger by a NATO pilot. The missile struck its target, and the first Jastreb exploded in a fireball. Wright quickly shot down 2 more with Sidewinder missiles. In minutes, the air battle was over. 4 Jastrebs were downed, and a 5th crashed trying to escape. The outcome of the engagement was decisive. Of the 6 Serbian Jastrebs that took off, only 1 made it back. 4 were shot down by Captain Wright's F-16, and another crashed during its escape. It was a stunning display of air power, proving the superiority of American pilots and their advanced aircraft. For the Bosnian Serbs, it was a major blow, losing much of their small air force in a single mission. The message was clear: the NATO no-fly zone would be enforced with deadly force. This was NATO's first ever combat action, marking a turning point for the alliance. It showed NATO could execute complex, multinational military operations. The incident had an immediate impact on the Bosnian War, and violations of the no-fly zone dropped dramatically. It was the first step toward a more robust intervention, leading to Operation Deliberate Force and ultimately peace. For the world, it was the day NATO finally went to war, forever changing its role on the global stage.